And we're live.
Welcome to Keepers of the Word. You're here with Mike, Ron, James, and our production crew that you don't see on video. We've got Joe, we've got Brian, and we've got Andrew.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you guys doing?
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Good to be back.
So, glad you have you guys with us. The Bean TV, thank you for joining. I want to thank our sponsors, Rode and Sweetwater. And generally, how was your day, gentlemen?
It's awesome, man. It's good to be back. I was in Texas last week, so, I called in. It was good to chat with you guys on the phone and check that.
The weather's been a little weird. It's been
weird.
Cold, hot.
Yes.
Kind of throwing me off a little bit.
I woke up and it was too hot.
So today's main topic, the movie by Alejandro Jodorowsky, Holy Mountain.
Holy Mountain.
So what is the Holy Mountain about? It's commercialization of art, greed, and spirituality. So the fake wokeness, challenging the flaws in our society's moral code, corruption of humanity.
Yeah.
So I believe in a nutshell, that sums it up. But let's get into Alejandro himself. He was born in Chile. Later, he moved to Mexico. And then he took on, he joined this monk by Ijo Takada and became a Zen Buddhist, which you see some of that symbolism in the movie, right?
A lot of it.
During that time, that's where Alejandro really links into his own spirituality. So, the movie, To Become a God, the spiritual art journey. Let's begin.
Yeah, Alejandro says that the tarot will teach you how to create a soul. And, it's all, I can go through the tarot cards and the way that Alejandro describes them, and we can continue discussing the movie and aspects of these tarot cards with the movie if that works for you guys.
Yeah, we can go into all of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it starts with the madman or the fool, which represents total freedom. And then you have the first card, the priestess, which is gathered experience. The magician, the beginning or choice. Actually, I switch those back and forth. It's the magician and then the priestess. The empress, an explosion of creativity. The emperor, material stability. The pope, the beginning of spirituality. The lover, which is to establish a loving relationship with the world. The cart, action in the world. Justice, to get what you deserve. The hermit, deep connection with yourself. Wheel of fortune, end of a cycle. Force, to deeply feel your libido, your life force or kundalini. The hangman, get deeply in touch with your spiritual or with your spiritual. Arcana, transformation into something new. Healing, to heal yourself. The devil, getting in touch with your creativity. Don't fear seeing it. House of God, push boundaries beyond your mental limits. The star, find a place in acting on it in the world. The moon, great archetype of receptivity. The sun, beginning of a new life. The judgment, androgynous thought, superior mind. The world, total awareness. The culmination of your masculine, feminine, intellectual, sexual, emotional, and earthly parts. The madman or the fool to the world is a complete union of the soul.
This is pretty cool how, this is step by step, basically, just like how the movie is. It's man's ascension from matter into spirit. So that's why in the beginning of the movie, like the first, 20, 30 minutes, it's rough.
Well, the first scene, if you think about it, the first
It's
scene
rough.
is stripping women of makeup, nails, and hair, kind of getting them ready to getting you ready for your spiritual journey, right? And that first scene, he's getting them ready. He's preparing. He's doing his thing to prepare himself to purify them, to get ready for the journey.
Shaving them.
And I mean, when you see it for the first time, you're like, whoa,
It's
what the
shocking.
hell is going on, you know?
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a
An esoteric.
Buddhist or Zen aspect, it makes sense. So I read that before shooting the movie, under the instruction of a Zen master, Alejandro and his wife stayed awake for a whole week, purged their bodies. And then after that, they got a roundup of all of the main characters that were involved in the movie. And and they started to begin this method of spiritual training involving Zen, Sufi, and yoga exercises with a sprinkle of alchemy and all over it. And that got them ready for this whole adventure
journey, really,
that they took.
Yeah.
Even the actors took a physical, mental, and spiritual journey on this film.
For sure. Yeah, they prepared themselves. They prepared themselves much like the initiates were being prepared at the beginning of the movie.
So I believe not only did they walk the walk, but they also talked the talk.
They did. I mean, this movie definitely, I don't even know how many times I've watched the movie, and it's really long, but every time I watch it, I see something else. And I try to pause it and write it down so I can kind of contemplate what it is and try to piece it together. But it's so multifaceted constantly. It's an amazing movie. It's just really rough in the beginning if you can get past that.
When you see the thief in the beginning, the fool, Jesus, or the thief, right, as the alchemist addresses him.
Calls him, yeah.
When you look at him, he just has this view of everything with ignorance.
Yeah,
Right?
he's
And
clueless.
He's clueless.
yeah.
And the things that are happening around him are just atrocities, right? And he's, whatever, this is the world.
He's going along
right?
with it.
So
it's okay.
It really kind of nails down our society today.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's the main purpose of this movie, for you to see what you're not seeing.
I think this is what upset people so much, is
Right.
that it was a mirror showing them the reality of the world that they live in, from their belief system to how they conduct themselves to everything, the nastiness of humanity.
The overindulgence.
Yeah.
I mean, the 70s were bad. It was the disco coke scene, and I mean, people were definitely overindulging and into excessive lifestyles, and it was absolutely a mirror of what was going on at the time. And I mean, if we're going to start on a spiritual journey, we have to be able to
We have to
look,
strip that.
We have to look in the mirror and strip it.
You have to find it first and then remove it, Well, you brought up earlier, Mike, where they remove the makeup and the shaving the head, From our other shows, we've talked about where makeup comes from, and that was taught from the fallen angels to put makeup on and to, look like you're ready to copulate the entire time when you're wearing it. Because, the woman is now turning red and the lips are becoming full. That's all what makeup is to attract the other sex.
Right.
And, one of my favorite parts is when he goes to meet the alchemist. And as he's walking into his chamber, he's ready with a weapon. And he's moving slowly.
Because he fears.
Well, he's ignorant.
He fears,
right?
yeah. He fears what he doesn't know.
The alchemist comes and he opens his arms as to welcome him. He immediately goes to attack because he's ignorant.
He doesn't know.
And the alchemist takes him out like that.
Real quick, I just want
doesn't hurt him.
I want to shout out to Bean TV there. We are talking about The Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Since we now have sound, I guess we had some issues, some technical difficulties. But anyways, we're back. Keep going. Sorry,
Okay.
Mike.
No, it's okay.
It's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, even you described it perfectly, how he opens his arms and he allows the man that's coming, this ignorant man, to choose. Where do you want to begin your journey? You want to begin it here instead of open arms. And even the way he takes him out, he's calm the whole time.
Right.
Sidestep, touch,
Moves, touch,
sidestep,
boom, boom, boom.
touch, because it's nothing to him.
Because he's in the know. He's enlightened. He understands what you're going to do to him and how he can deflect.
And he's not even angry.
He could hurt him. He could hurt him really bad.
Bad.
He chooses not to.
He didn't.
Right? Because that is what martial artists do.
Right.
So from there, he goes up further into the tower, into the alchemy room. Right? And
Beautiful scene.
He gets into, and he starts telling him, "You are excrement, but you can turn into gold." That is so on point with everything in life.
I don't think it can be worded any better.
Right.
I mean, just the scene alone, the imagery alone. This is what you see in the when alchemists are hiding this in paintings. This is literally, he took it from these esoteric hidden books and he put it on screen. What was this, 1975?
73.
73.
Yeah.
Right.
No one was doing this.
Yeah.
The world was not ready to see this.
No.
It's a
Because
philosopher's
automatically
stone.
it became satanic to them.
Yeah, because they didn't
Right?
understand.
Because you don't understand it.
Satanic
it's
is
satanic.
the waste bag of, oh, we don't like that. That's not our religion. Let's dump it in that.
Yeah.
You know?
That is such a cop-out, and that's
It
ignorance.
has nothing to do whatsoever with
That
Satanism.
is ignorance. That is the fool approaching the alchemist.
Ow.
That's it
good
right there.
description. That's
100%.
Yeah.
Perfect.
100%.
No, it's definitely, though. I mean, it is the philosopher's stone. It's the Masonic. It's the imperfect ashlar,
ashlar,
that's
right.
working towards perfection.
100%. Yep.
But see, this part that moves forward where 7 other people join and the thief asks the alchemist, who are they? He goes, oh, they're like you. They're thieves too, but they're worse.
They're sin.
They're industrialists and politicians.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets into the culture of our reality, where you have the industrialists taking advantage of people, colonizers.
Of marketing sin.
That too.
And politicians.
Politicians.
Well, they're
doing
marketing
things for
sin.
their own.
Right.
Yeah.
So the rest of those tales, they have jobs as CEOs, as politicians, and they're running major corporations and doing things that, aren't good for the people, but it's good for their pockets. So technically they are the thieves.
Well, absolutely.
And that's why you said a lot of people got mad at this movie, because you saw the reality of probably
what
yourself.
the world is. Not only that there's people out there in the world who are doing this, but you are the one being abused. You are the one that's being taken advantage of. You are the fool. And people didn't like that.
Well, the other thing is that they couldn't see it. They couldn't see, because ultimately on a spiritual journey, we have to understand, we usually do understand when we start on a spiritual journey, we are all excrement. And it doesn't matter whether you're a CEO of a company, whether you're a politician, whether you're no one that has a monkey on your back just walking through the streets clueless. We're all the same. We're all excrement. We're all the bottom, and we can attain enlightenment.
So the whole purpose of the Holy Mountain is to identify the fake woke. Right?
Right.
Not only to identify the fake woke, but to identify the fake reality that we live in. And somewhere in a parallel universe, we're living a completely different life where we don't have monetary.
It's probably bliss.
Yeah. We're just
nature,
helping each other, growing food, living life,
no
enjoying
boundaries,
nature.
no countries.
No boundaries, no countries. It's all
humans.
About humanity and really taking care of each other.
Working together.
Right.
Right.
So moving on, when we go into other parts of the movie and you're seeing, it's shock cinema. It really
It's
is.
beyond shock cinema.
Big time.
Especially the beginning of the movie. I mean, it's throughout the movie, but the heaviness, the part that people really don't like is in the beginning. And I always tell them, if you can make it past the first 30 minutes and just know that what he's showing you is for a purpose, you can do it. Like I recently suggested to a brother, actually, to watch this movie. And he watched it the next day, and he is like, man, I can only get like 20 minutes in, and I had to turn it off.
Got to keep going.
I'm like, you have to keep going. I mean, in the beginning, everything's rough. Everything's hard to do because you're not used to it yet or you haven't gotten past it.
I don't think I made it 20 minutes the first time I watched it, but I knew I got to watch this again. And when I watched it again and then had it with fresh eyes and understanding the concepts, it was like, dude, this movie's.
I sat there the first time I watched it. Mike here recommended it to me. I had no idea about this movie. Yeah. So I went and I watched it. I'm like, how long is this movie? I'm like, damn you, Mike. So I started watching it. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, at this point, like I'm over it because I get the concept, but it's just going on forever. And it's just showing you the depth that man is stuck in matter and the length of time that we've been. Think of like the medieval times or the dark ages and just cruelty, like raping and pillaging of other countries and just going in and like, oh, damn, look here comes this other country and they just declared war on us and they're coming with battle axes and chopping us up. And like, that was horrifying, but he's showing you what man can come out of. No matter how far we go in, you always have a choice to turn around. It'll be a longer road, but you can do it. So once I finished the rough part and the first imagery of the tower, I'm like, okay, here we go. And I can't tell you how many times I kept rewinding it just to watch scenes. So it took me longer than the movie because I kept rewatching the scenes because it was so beautiful. Just the image of him going and seeing the alchemist.
That itself, where the two
That's
pillars.
That's my favorite.
Right?
Yeah.
Where the two pillars, he's just sitting there.
Beautiful.
In his Zen Buddhist.
It's ritualistic.
Yeah. And as he gets up to greet, he's waiting for see what the fool's going to do. But he knew.
He expected, but he's like, maybe. Are you going to wow me?
Yeah. Right.
You know what? Oh, okay. Okay, you did. Okay. You want to start there. No problem. So it's really cool, It's like a child. Yeah. And the child's angry. Yeah.
You put a kid in the room and say, don't touch that. And you're going to sit there and watch him. You go.
So now we got to go through the whole thing of like, this is why you shouldn't touch it. This is why you didn't do that. We got to start there. Okay, cool. No problem. I know where we should begin.
Yeah.
To our audience, if you watched the movie, what scene stood out to you the most? Go ahead and put it in the chat stream. We'll address it in a bit. Or if you haven't seen the movie, what do you think you're going to expect? Because from what we're saying, it's rough. It's very rough. My jaw kept on dropping over and over again. But the end is what did it for me. That was like, wow.
It's mind blowing.
Right? Like you're like, whoa, like this is how we're gonna end it?
This piece is
it's art.
Out of time.
It's totally art. And I think what did it for me was that after I got past that initial rough kind of imagery in the very beginning, I realized how surrealistic that movie was and
how truthful it is.
I dig surrealism. It's my favorite art form. I love anything that's ethereal and dreamlike and strange. And so I realized that this was a story that was 100% artistic. And, obviously with the cult following that it has to this day, made in 1973. I mean,
right. It's an amazing movie.
It is. It's very cool.
When we're on the freeway, there's a car accident. A lot of times we don't want to look at it or something because, maybe it'll make our day a little worse. There's something like that imagery and we choose not to see it. And we go about almost in ignorance sometimes to not want to see that negative stuff. And this movie shows you the negativity that's there. And then it shows you how to traverse that, how to get out of that. So it's an amazing movie.
I would propose that it, almost teaches to be receptive to the whole concept of Zen Buddhism is to be present. And when we're present, we see things that seem like synchronicities or things that are synchronicities are the universe's way of saying, I recognize you. And when we are able to be in the moment and pay attention to stuff, we're in a different world than we are when we're marching through the world in our jobs, just doing our usual grind, our regular thing. But when we stop and when we pay attention and we see things and we, that homeless guy that's hanging out on the bus stop every single day and you drive by him and okay, that guy's there. But when you stop and you look or you talk to him or you interact or something like that, the The universe is telling you, gotcha.
Right. And we should be in line with that. And that's what that movie's kind of trying to show you, you know?
Agreed.
So it's considered a hallucinogenic trip of the immoral part of society. Many metaphors on how war and violence is sold to the public, trying to justify war. Colonialism as an entertaining piece of history to those lives it never affects. Christianity being the justification of it all. Christianity made it okay for you to colonize and destroy whole civilizations and genocide.
In the name of God.
Maybe we can switch that to in the name of God.
Right. So
because that was wholesale
different
forever.
Versions of Jesus.
Right. There's
there
1,000.
was the real version of Jesus,
Yeah.
and then there's whose version of Jesus.
Correct.
What whose version? You said Peter's, right?
It's Saul's.
Okay.
It's
Paul.
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 Yeah.
His name's Saul. Then
Yeah.
he later changed because the P's Roman, so he wants to be more Roman.
Yeah.
Again, that's a lie. So, you know, the guy changed his whole self. He was actually crucifying Christians, and then realized he probably had a mini stroke. They think it was either a stroke or heat stroke, because he saw this bright white light fell off his horse. It was in the middle of the desert.
Right.
And he goes,
But it was a God
and Jesus
vision.
is like, why are you
It was a God
crucifying me?
vision.
And he's like, I can make some money here. And he flipped the script, you know? And I'm not saying like, you know, that's to knock the religion or anything like that. It's
Well, I am saying that, so.
yeah, you know, I'm trying to be PC, you know? I mean,
I'm not.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there, you know? This movie definitely calls those religions out.
Yeah.
And it's 100% correct. This is not an opinion. I want to say this. This is not an opinion, because today, those religious establishments are still conducting themselves almost the same way. They're just trying to keep it secret. And now it's out in the open, and nobody wants to do a damn thing. And I think that's shameful, and it's,
in my opinion,
it's horrible.
I feel, you know, Catholicism in general, when you don't hold priests accountable for their actions,
Right.
especially raping little boys and girls, and you just take them away and put them in another church.
You move them.
I'm sorry, but that itself is disgusting. And that's exactly what this movie is talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Those horrible things that people do.
Yeah.
What evil lurks in the heart of men.
Which is probably why the fool is made to look like Christ.
Well, it's a direct.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you think about it.
definitely,
The first time that, when he showed this in Mexico, they wanted to burn down the theater and hang him. I think it was only like 30 minutes into the movie. So they stopped. They never watched the rest of the movie. I think they got the film and they destroyed it. He had to be snuck out in a trunk of a car. No joke. So his buddy put him in a trunk of a car, and there was a mob outside ready to burn down the place, and they were looking for him to hang him in the street because of what he was showing. Oddly enough, so many years later, he's right. It's just that he saw it for what it was, and you know, it's unfortunate, and that doesn't mean that, like, you know, the people who practice his faith or anything is wrong. But I mean, you know, if your establishment is moving a priest 30 times around the world, and 30 times he's doing that, there's something wrong with the establishment at that point. It's not a personal level; it's the establishment.
So you have to think about the time that it was written. So you have to look back into that moment in the late 60s, early 70s. That's where the whole hippie movement counterculture came on, and heavy spiritualism jumped in, and people were
eating it up,
raising their consciousness.
Yeah.
Something happened where it was suppressed. The 80s,
right? 80s, Satanic Panic.
Actually, you know, before that, I would propose that the summer of '69, the Manson murders changed a lot of things, and it ended that counterculture movement. They started scheduling all the drugs and making them illegal, and then we went into the 70s.
The war on drugs.
We went into the 70s, which exactly what I told you was about excess and overindulgence and partying and being crazy, and then it just got worse from there.
Right.
So Atlas 89, I definitely have to watch the movie. Dude, you really have to watch. Everybody, you need to see this movie.
Please watch it.
It's insane.
Rip those eyelids open.
You'll love it. Ruff Ashler 357, surrealism in particular with Salvador Dali was about ego, and it was all about extreme individualism.
So
Correct.
This movie is like Salvador Dali put art into it. So if you like Salvador Dali, he's one of my favorite artists.
Agreed,
for sure.
Me too.
The world ego, the egg. Like I love that. I have a painting of it. It's beautiful.
As far as the movie's concerned too, I believe it was just last year that the production company re-released it, and it is now on like Blu-ray, and it's in HD available, and you can get it from Abco from their website. So
I believe it's on some streaming services.
It's streaming on a couple of services.
I don't know
too.
which ones, but
I forget which it was. I don't remember, but I know that if you just Google search streaming, can you guys? There you go. Yeah, check us out. Streaming. Type in streaming. Holy Mountain streaming.
Holy Mountain.
Holy Mountain.
There you go.
It's that voice.
There we go. Now we can shoot it out. Amazon.
But it's funny, I don't know if you guys have Chilean friends. My aunt's Chilean, and that accent is very.
Please watch this movie. Look we're literally showing you where you can watch this movie.
Amazon Prime.
It's $5 to watch it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Just be ready to sit down and watch it. If you have somebody that doesn't like watching movies, kick them out. Watch it by yourself. Sit down, turn your phone off, and really watch it. It's a long movie. How long is it?
An hour and 53 minutes.
An hour and 50. For some reason, it felt way longer for me.
Well, you kept rewinding.
It felt way longer because of the situations that you've been put in.
Yeah.
Right.
Because normally when we're looking at a movie, we're looking at the beginning, it's nice and soft, and then the middle is, it's getting crazy, and then there's the conclusion, and then the win or the lose, right?
Right.
This is win, lose, lose.
It makes you feel uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
If you're not feeling uncomfortable in life, are you really living? Right? So being uncomfortable makes us learn new things. And this makes you uncomfortable to show you something. And this may wake you up inside, Please watch the movie.
So, Mike, I want to go back to that Chilean comment. What were you, I just want to...
Because the way they speak, in English.
And you knew someone?
They have, my aunt. My aunt, she's Chilean, and she has a pretty heavy accent, very much like Jorodowski. So it's noticeable.
I spent time in Chile, so it was very cool, and it was very,
it's a different type of Spanish.
I can remember being in like one of the marketplaces, and every place down there they were all saying tobacco. You want tobacco?
That's the thing over there.
Like,
right?
No, I don't want tobacco. You got
tobacco.
the other stuff. Oh no, that's illegal. We have tobacco.
So, going into the symbolism, James, what stood out to you most as far as actual symbols when you were in The Alchemist?
Well, him being put inside the machine,
You're talking about the drawings?
Oh, the drawings?
Yeah.
For what do you mean?
There's a bunch of symbols.
Yeah.
There's symbols everywhere. I mean, it's alchemy. So what he's showing you is alchemy. It's man's ascension from literally I said it earlier, from matter to spiritual.
Spiritual alchemy.
Right. I mean, it's transcendence is what it is.
Right.
So, and this is actual practices and stuff like that. There are some things that when I saw it, you said your jaw dropped. I fell on the floor because you don't get to see this. There's two movies that I tell everybody when people want to tell me, James, can I come with you and see magic? I'm like, first of all, what is your definition of magic? And if you've never watched A Dark Song or Holy Mountain, I'm not going to take you. So A Dark Song and Holy Mountain are the two movies that show magical practices, rituals, what have you, symbolism, the best. It's the best movie to see that. And it's real. They're showing you real things. It is skewed a bit to kind of throw people off because this is a secret teaching. So I think he's trying to show some respect. But at the same time, he wants to show, in A Dark Song, they changed the Abramelin quite a bit. So you can't sit there and do the Abramelin and, maim yourself or something. So, but the Holy Mountain, I mean, there's so much in it. Like I said, every time I watch it, there's always something new. Always something new. I'm like, I didn't see that.
You can watch it 10 times and still catch something new, something that's going to stick out to you. Like one of the parts that stuck out to me was where they met the strong man.
Mhm.
And he said, yeah, I could climb. I could go through the mountain. And he goes through. See, I'm enlightened. And they just look at him like,
You cheated. So
Outta here.
what they're describing here are people. I've talked about this before. Short-term magic, high gain. Okay, so these are people who don't want to do the work, and they want to find shortcuts. So this is what he's specifically addressing. These are. I won't go into too many details on what that is, but you know, there's ways that you can cheat by stealing and doing things to get high gain, but it's at short term. So you find people who practice stuff, who practice this method to where all of a sudden everything around them is going great, and they have hardcore crashes, and they have nothing. They physically look different and everything. It's almost like a drug. And then so with a real practitioner, you're going to practice and do the work and have a slow incline. But you're always going up, and you go long term. And that's what he's describing in this. It's amazing.
the whole trip is to become a god, right? They want to become gods. These are CEOs, politicians. They're wanting to gain more power. And in the light of it all, they're seeing that that really isn't important.
No.
Once you go through the purge and you see yourself for who you really are,
Right.
you're just a meat suit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And your virtue is the only thing you take with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then your job, your khakis, none of that shit matters,
Nothing.
right?
Your
It's
house,
just-
your car, all the rest.
none
of
of
the
that none
material
of that
bullshit.
matters anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's I'm a being, I'm a soul,
Yeah.
you're one too. That's it.
Get back
Simple.
to
Right.
where we started.
Exactly.
Get back to the
Mhm.
Godhead.
To be gods.
Mhm.
But they did not choose that at the end. The end they chose reality.
Reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
to
the
get away
part.
from Maya.
That's the part. That's the part where they're like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah. I mean, this is in essence is what we're trying to do here on the show, is to show people that there is something else out there than what you are spoon-fed to believe and consume and purchase and to, you know, I got my Tommy Hilfiger or whatever
Perfect
cool clothes is
Perfect
out
example.
there, you know?
We were talking about this earlier. Was Kanye had called out Jodorowsky on, you guys don't even know who Jodorowsky is. You guys don't know who Alejandro.
Right. And he does. They
okay,
met.
Yeah,
well,
they met.
yeah, but he really doesn't think. Dude, he
But it's
completely
Kanye, I'm
missed
sorry.
the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like,
it's Kanye.
You missed it. You didn't.
I'm sorry. I'm not a Kanye fan.
You know, like you just
No.
you bastardized that part. You said, "Oh, well, he's the artist." No,
He's
man,
way
you're not,
more
You're
than
not
that.
understanding the art, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a genius.
it's deeper than that.
Mhm.
It's one of those where, no, motherfucker, we need to go to the desert. We need to
Mhm.
drop an eighth of shrooms, and then we're gonna see who you really fucking are,
Yeah.
dude.
You know, unfortunately, I think Kanye's probably on that level without any shrooms, and he's not. Doesn't seem like he's doing too well. So
Well,
Yeah.
you know, hey, money can do weird things to people, and I hope he finds his
I
way.
think it's more medical. I think he needs to be on a regimen of
I just think
something. He's in
he
balance a
just
little
needs
bit.
to be around the right people, and
He needs to be around people that aren't yes men.
that too. Well, this isn't the Kanye show, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
We
about that.
digress. We digress.
But we digress.
But anyway, for me, I believe that there was a lot of symbolism, a lot of lessons. And the most important lesson is yourself and knowing who you really are, rather than what you can, how much money you can make and how many possessions you can actually possess.
Right.
And that is the moral of the story, man. Knowing who you really are and understanding that we're in reality here in the moment, you know?
And in regards to reality, I think that will almost probably my favorite thing is the very end where they break that
The fourth wall.
where they break the fourth wall.
Mhm.
He's like, look, pan out, check it out.
This is a movie.
It's bullshit.
Pan out.
This is all bullshit.
all Maya.
This
It's all illusion.
right?
I mean, that's just that voice will reside in my brain forever. It's amazing. And then, of course, there's apathy.
We are images.
We should probably bring up apathy. If you guys don't listen to apathy, please go listen to apathy on Spotify.
Yeah.
The Widow's Son. The
Widow's Son is like my favorite album.
Awesome. Me too.
He will rip your eyelids open.
Yeah.
He has a lot of reference to Holy Mountain in that album. And thank you for doing that.
Yes, thank you.
Shout out App.
Yeah, that was really,
shout out to Apathy.
Cool,
Come do a show for us at our.
Been too long.
He's very busy, man. He's very
I know
busy.
He's busy, but come down, kick us some brother. Do a show in a 1926 two-story Shakespearean theater, man.
Whoa.
I was gonna put it out there,
So I have a question for production. What part of the movie stood out to you guys?
Well, sorry, man. We've been dealing with some things.
Sorry.
You guys have been dealing with our technical difficulties, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. I think we got it sorted for the moment. Everyone's saying they can hear and things are sounding good. I've done some checks and everything sounds cool. So let's roll forward. For me, there's like a couple interesting things. Again, I haven't really been listening much to what you guys have been saying because we've been doing our thing back here. So I hope I don't go back over something.
It doesn't matter.
But
just go for it.
It's kind of cool how they show that the duplication of Christ.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over until it was something that was unrecognizable,
manufactured.
That was very interesting.
He sold.
Yeah.
Worldwide. Production. It's crazy.
Yeah. Also, it kind of shows when they're following the camera, it's kind of like showing how the world was kind of documenting kind of, I guess, religion, right? Or is it Christianity specifically? But they're just kind of following it, and I think that kind of goes part into that duplication part of Christ. I think that had to do with that in that scene as well.
Yeah, we did talk about kind of his poke at Christianity, and it's probably
Catholicism,
like you said, it's probably religion in general. It was the world. It was the overindulgences and the ties to worldly things, which is the complete view of an alchemist or an esotericist. Break it down, get rid of, drop the ego.
Right.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting. It seemed that the midget character seemed to represent magic specifically.
Magic, yeah.
And how he was, he was with Jesus and part of Jesus, the Christ character that whole time, and then it got ripped away.
I would argue that and say that it represented ego because it was with him for so long, and he had that monkey on his back forever, and then finally it recognized that it had to go when he knew it had to go, when it was no longer there. So I would propose
it's kind of cool because he's not there. Remember? Because he's holding him like he's like this, and you get the viewpoint of everybody else, and like, what the hell?
What's he doing?
Well, he's holding him like this.
When he goes to climb the tower to get to the alchemist, he had to let all that go.
He did.
Right?
But it came back. I think
we can tie that into our own lives. We look at it where the things that don't serve you, the people that don't help you, the people that are toxic around you, you need to let that go and move forward. Sometimes it's best to just start all over again.
And sometimes they'll cling on. Yeah. Sometimes they'll keep you drop them. You'll let go of that stuff, and then you kind of get back into your groove, and then eventually you get to a place where you just throw them in the ocean and you're done.
Or sometimes you may even help that individual by letting go. Because maybe they realize something and they see how well you're doing now, and they kind of want to get back to that, and then you can bring them back.
Or maybe they have their own path to walk by themselves. They have their own path, right? And they learn. And
you meet up
own,
again,
and then you return to full circle, and now you're both at a different level.
Yeah, all of our paths are not straight. Our paths are crooked. They are windy. They are up and down. They are a roller coaster. So
every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future.
And some are the same. A lot of them are the same.
The Bean TV, can I just say, I love the beards. That's what I'm going for.
Yes. Thank you.
Right. Atlas 89.
We try.
The gold of the spirit is more valuable than them all. That is the truth. Right?
I mean, that's in the movie. Yeah. It's literally in the movie. So please watch it.
Gold.
Yeah.
funny
Magic
that you said
Joker 0925. Mad Joker 0925.
Mad
Do you
Joker.
feel films need to be more surreal? Need more surrealism and less realism?
I think both, because sometimes I want to watch a movie, I want to take my brain out, and I just want to relax and have a good time. You know, I just want to like let go. I don't want to overanalyze everything. But then there's movies like this that are provocative, that make you think, that make you want to go out and do things.
I would say if a movie makes me think, regardless of whether it's, I love surrealism because to me, surrealism usually makes me think, but a good movie that makes you think, I mean, like some of Nolan's movies, you know, like Inception and Tenet, you know, it's like where he's playing with the concepts of time and time dilation and that kind of stuff. It's a movie that makes me think. I was just talking with my buddy when I was in Texas, and I'm like, dude, I don't go to the movies that often because most of the movies that I see the previews for, I have no interest in. They don't excite me until something like Tenet was like one of the last movies.
Right.
1941, 42. What was that movie where it was shot as it was a single scene?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
No
it
clue.
wasn't. It was based on World War One.
Yes, I think that's 1914 or something like
1914.
that. Yeah.
There you go.
That
and
whole
it was
scene
the
was-
whole
yeah.
movie. The whole movie, as you're going through the movie, is one single scene. It's from the beginning of him getting his orders to going through the field and getting to his final destination. And the movie was filmed crazily with multiple shots. It was never filmed more than, I remember looking up the information on it. It was something like the scenes were like 20 minutes long each, but it was stitched together so perfectly that movie appeared that it was a single POV shot from the very beginning of the movie to the very end of the movie. Those kind of movies, anything done really well where it makes me think, that's what I want to see.
Also,
Right.
since movie theaters are
Mad Joker.
starting to open back up, have you tried the THX experience?
I have not.
I believe, well, the AMC over here in Torrance, they had that, and I watched 1914 in that.
Okay.
Is
Is that the one where they have
they
like
have the speakers under your chair?
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I did.
So
I did.
And you feel the rumble.
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you feel like you're in the field.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's a
You're
trip.
immersed. It's
Yeah.
an immersive experience.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
They should bring movie theaters back like that. Do you remember they used to have the little mess up ones with the shock ones? Make everybody get,
Dude,
you know,
I'm gonna,
the
I'm,
air.
There's a
I'm gonna
4D
throw
experience.
back. I'm gonna throw back before your time, bro. They used to have the Omnimax in Vegas at the Caesar's Palace. Do you remember that? Because it would have been. You might have remembered
I
that.
never went.
So when you drove through Vegas, it was this giant dome that was lit up on the outside. So when you're cruising on the 15 and coming into Vegas, you could see this crazy lighted dome. But when you went into the theater, it was completely convex, and you sat back, and it was that the seats had movement and they had sound.
rumble.
It was the
Yeah.
early THX experience.
Okay.
And they usually had some really, like, I remember seeing like a flick on Hawaii, and it's like surfers. So you're like, it's like this massive freaking, I think it was essentially, it was called Omnimax. So it was the beginning of the IMAX experience, but it was, like fully immersive where it was all around you and just larger than life kind of thing. Anyways, digress.
No, what do we need to talk about this thing?
Now I want to go.
Right?
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
gone.
the-
Long
It was
gone.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids at Disneyland is where they have like the air pops on you when there's like mice
Yeah,
running
yeah,
around.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
They should have that in theaters. I don't know how they can really conduct that nowadays with the movies, you know?
Crazy.
Yes. So in the end of this movie, when you see him say, "This is, we were
Illusion.
in search of immortality, but we didn't find that. We found reality." And as he's telling you this, he's like, "You're not going to be gods, but you're going to know who you really are now," which is technically becoming a god.
So to speak on what you just said, what if we have it all wrong? What if
I would agree with you.
What if now is the time, besides us just trying to be a good person to go to heaven? What if this is it? This is our shot to not only just be a good person, but this is what we make it. We are all gods. and we need to attain that. And we have other people who have ascended to that who are trying to keep us down.
Well,
just to play the devil's advocate
if
there.
you think about the movie itself, it's playing into our society as government, where government is controlling everything. Government is telling us what to eat, what to wear, what to think, what to wear, and
religion
at the same time,
religion doing the same thing as
religion
well.
parallel the
how to think,
two different pillars,
how to feel,
parallel supporting the government, saying no, they're right. Follow them and follow us because we know what's best for you.
Church and state, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time is taking it full advantage of you as a consumer. They're taking your money and they're not giving you anything.
Because if you think about it, I'm gonna say this, and this is my personal opinion, is church and state are really for people who do not know how to conduct themselves. I don't need a church to tell me how to not abuse my neighbor. I don't need the state to tell me that I shouldn't murder somebody. I already know that.
No.
I know how to conduct myself as a human being.
We don't need the church or the state for our own morality systems. And we do stuff because we know it's
Can
right.
we just think about that?
It does serve a purpose, though. Like
I see it does, but overall, we need to tell people, don't do this, don't do that.
Because some people actually need it. Like you
crazy.
said, like us, like we can figure it out on our own. We know that
the majority of
just
people.
be a good person, right?
Yeah.
But then there's people out there. Hey, like where I grew up, man, there were some gangster ass fools, dude, that are now hardcore Christians,
Right.
And they don't do stupid shit
And it
anymore
worked
because they found Jesus, and I'm happy that they did that because it made them a better person.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they're trying to convert everybody to do the same thing.
Right.
But hey, you know what? I'd rather take that and listen to that than have you in jail or doing dumb shit
or
in the
hurting
streets.
people or whatever. Yeah.
You know, so there is the purpose.
Yeah.
Because that is, I would say that's probably like the neophyte level, right? Like,
Yeah.
where you're understanding what religion is.
Just enough.
And then at some point you need to wake up and say, you know what? There's more to this.
Yeah.
This is just surface level, not even adept, just very simple, and that's it. There's no other way to put it. It's very simple living, and it's fed to you, force fed with rules written by men, right? And you want to say, oh, well, it's written by God. I'm sorry, man. These guys were sheep herders with the education of a 10-year-old, bro. And you're gonna tell me, no, they knew their shit. Okay.
Or they were having psychedelic experiences and attributing it someplace else, and then keeping that hidden in an esoteric fashion.
Right, which happens throughout the Bible.
Which is what I would propose.
It happens throughout the Bible.
The Holy Sacrament itself has
correct.
You've been lied to about that. That's
correct.
It's not.
We're only getting half of it.
Yeah,
it's been diluted into alcohol, so they basically left it with alcohol so that people still get a little buzz.
Yeah, but they took out the psychedelic.
They took out the psychedelic,
and that's the bad part. You took out the psychedelic part, and now we're here. And
wow, what is this?
Oh, I don't know. We're getting into IG.
We're fancy.
Oh.
So this is some of the artwork that's coming from Holy Mountain.
Well, if you look at that in itself, you're veiled on top of a mountain and you're lifting the veil, right?
Yeah.
You're taking the cover off your eyes. And I see that like with religion, you are being covered, and that's okay.
Yet is there still a level of embarrassment? I mean, it's
almost like half of her. I think this is really going to be the struggle of trying to pull a veil and trying to pull everything off, but now she's covering her breast because
that's what I'm saying. Is there still some embarrassment? She hasn't made it all the way there, right?
It's almost like she's struggling, but she wants it off.
Okay.
And it even looks like her legs are almost tied, with the drapery there. But that's the veil. That would be the veil for sure. It's a beautiful photo.
Yes, Brother Keteman, he's always commenting. Thank you very much, Melissa Elizabeth Insta. Thank you very much. There's a lot of people comment on our Instagram, where we have a pretty large following. And if you wanted to look at some really, really cool posts that Joe posts, check out our Instagram, Keepers of the Word. These conversations continue every day on this.
Yeah.
So we are feeding this every day. We are posting. We are.
Hey, whose ugly mug is that?
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Multiple ones there.
Gotta go live, buddy. Gotta go live.
Going live.
So, in essence, when we look at this movie, we're looking at it from a perspective of a fool who wants to become the alchemist at some point, or the magician, the enlightened one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's go into the Bean TV, separate church and state. Yes, I agree. And then freedom and morality comes from the source, that's for sure. That's from Atlas X89. And then we have the Bean TV. Why do you think this was so secretive? Are you referring to the movie being secretive?
Or maybe alchemy.
Or alchemy being secretive. Or maybe religion not telling the truth.
So I can answer this because they don't want you to know this, because there's another party that's against this. They don't want you to have self-knowledge or be self-taught. They want you to follow a regiment. So, and this goes back to, the Bible was not for people to read. The Bible was brought out. It was locked up. And it's to dictate on how they see fit. It was used as a tool.
Yeah.
And this, you can see, it's not an opinion. You can see how they swayed people.
It used to control people?
The masses. The masses through fear, unfortunately. So that's why was it so secretive? Because it works, and it's healthy.
It works.
It's healthy.
It's funny that when people try to tell me, well, it was written by God. Okay, so then you believe in the Mormon Bible then? And no. Why would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was written by God too. He was inspired by God. So it's the same thing. You just choose one over the other. For me, I just don't believe either one. Are there great moral tales in each book? Yes,
absolutely.
There are. You can learn from them.
There's great moral
you can be a good
tales
person from them
in the world that keep getting rehashed over and over and over. So you have like the Avatar, or the Christ figure. There's been many people who died being crucified, or not so much crucified, but on a tree. Buddha, one of the Buddhas was done. I forget the evil guy's name. He had like crossbows, and he pinned him to a tree, and that's how he died. Odin, same thing. This is all recurring over and over and over. And this is why the church went and conquered all these other lands and got rid of their religion, because it's their same religion. It's the same teachings, just swayed. It's just changed just a little bit. So you can find these teachings that are in the Bible. They're throughout the history of the world. The majority of the Bible came from Babylon. So all the creation myths, all that, it's all from Babylon when the Jews were enslaved in Babylon.
Epic of Gilgamesh itself.
I think that's amazing.
There's so many similarities.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it was borrowed from there, and it was taken in Egypt, and then adopted from Egypt, and then taken into Judaism.
Well, even in Gilgamesh, he sees his great grandfather, who's Upanishad, I believe his name is, or something like that. And it's Noah.
Yeah, the stories are similar, and the teachings, and that's why it's always like, let's get back to the earliest. Let's go to the source.
Full moon is active tonight, correct?
Full moon. Sorry, we've been having some technical issues, and that's okay. We're getting it straightened out. Feng Shui Zena, hi.
Wow,
thank you for joining us.
You said that like a professional.
I am a professional.
I looked over at that and I had a hard time, and you just said that.
That's how it goes. So it is absurd, but so is our society.
Society is absolutely absurd.
That's the movie in general.
Right.
Why do we go to jobs and leave our house empty to make money to pay for that house and pay for that car that drove us to that job? It's absolutely absurd, but we do it.
So if you think about that, it totally reminds me of Fight Club, part where he says, "You're not your fucking khakis," because you aren't. Right? What else would you be doing 40 hours a week, dude?
Or what about the Rose movie with Kevin Spacey? He says it's all just stuff.
It is stuff.
It's all stuff.
American Beauty. That's
American
what you're talking
Beauty.
about.
There you go.
It's all just
good
stuff.
movie.
So
Good movie.
one of the
Awesome
things
ending.
that you learn is that possessions possess you.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't learn how to let go of things, whether they are thoughts or material things, then they end up possessing you. They possess your mind. They possess your soul. So that's something you need to learn.
On that note, I didn't shout out at the beginning. I'm going to give a shout out right now. Worshipful Chad from International City Lodge has a YouTube channel called The Blacked Out Buddha. He has sold every freaking thing that he owned, and he is traveling the world, and he's been spending these last couple of months in Mexico right now. He just did a bitchin' minimalist packing video for like a 38-liter pack or something like that he's down to like 32, and his bare minimum stuff, and half of his stuff is his recording equipment for his laptop and his camera and stuff to be able to make his money and make his videos on the road. Shout out Chad. Blacked Out Buddha, check him out on YouTube. It's got a great freaking video on how to become a minimalist and how to get out there and check out the world. So
I don't think I can be a minimalist. I like the whole concept.
I like the concept.
I like the
but
concept, and I would love to do it.
I like to do things.
But I'm obsessed with books.
And that involves
I couldn't get
things.
rid of my books. I couldn't.
yeah, that's,
You know,
I mean,
But I have like a
there's certain
ton
things.
of books that would not fit in the minimalist,
yeah, I get that. I understand that. And there's just, but there's other things that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Yeah. It's very attractive.
I believe some of the guys went over and did a big cleanup freaking excavation at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Was that it? I mean, that's even stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
cleaning out trash.
I felt so good afterwards.
Exactly, dude. It's
I
a
actually go and I
purge.
sit in the backyard now.
Yeah.
I just look at the
Like a
emptiness.
place that you
Yeah.
didn't even want to go before because
No,
it
I
was
hated
just
it.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because it was too much.
Mhm.
Too much stuff, and our brains get that
So now
way
I sit on my
sometimes.
patio and relax, watch the sunset now. It's all
Yeah.
beautiful.
So the Bean TV is referencing the Crusades. The Crusades in general was just a fight over land.
Mm.
It was mainly to excavate underneath Solomon's temple to retrieve what was underneath there. Whatever it may be. I'm going to leave that blank.
If Solomon's temple,
So we understand
even
that
right
those temple pillars in the front were a certain height, and then they
Yeah.
changed height when it was sacked.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads the Templars to believe that there's something under the temple.
This is why they made a horse barn on the side of it, horse stables, and they worked underneath there where no one can see what they were doing. It was completely roofed. So you have the temple here, and they were down here, and they were digging underneath. So we can go see that today. We know they were there mining underneath.
wow, if you could get
Well,
to
we can't
the
get it. We
mosque,
can't
right?
get
Yeah,
into
it's
there. Yeah.
it's a different.
Happy Slappy. Anyone who tries tricking his followers to go with him in the desert is behind alert.
Personally, yeah. Yeah.
personal.
I mean, if you're talking about Jesus going to the desert and stuff like that, he was most likely with the Essene community.
I don't
And,
know. I know a bunch of guys that go to the desert and leave their wives behind.
Yeah, we do that once a year.
Yeah, we don't go for 40 days. though.
We go for 40 days,
Go
and it
for-
doesn't get weird like that. So
Yeah. But it does help. Not gonna lie.
it does help to
Yeah.
go and just get away from. We kind of unplug every year. We
Yep.
want to unplug and
Purge.
purge and realign with ourselves and with each other too. Because I mean, there's nothing like bonding
I have a
other than
friend
freezing. entire time.
that's gonna make you or break you, right?
Yeah.
That was so cold.
I have a friend who's an artist. His name, if you check him out on Instagram, Art Underworld, check him out. He's got some great art. But he was totally against psychedelics growing up.
Mhm.
He's like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do that shit. Then over time, he's like,
Right.
So I told him, look, man, whenever you want, go to Yucca Valley. We'll handle it, and I guarantee you're gonna come back
A whole new
Different.
person. A
You're gonna
whole
be
new person.
focused.
Mm-hmm.
Super focused. Those lights are. So going back to the movie, could you imagine a month of just heavy Sufi Zen and yoga training?
Yes. Yes, I can.
First of all, sleep deprivation, dude. I mean, if they were doing that for a whole month, dude, there's got to be a certain point where
Your
you
body
freaking think you're going mad because it actually
your body falls.
I remember a show where they used to do that, where they would stay awake as long as possible, and
wasn't that long.
What they had said on it was the longer you stay awake, you actually
become insane.
Well, your blood alcohol content changes because of the way that, I don't remember the science behind it, but there's something about the way that your body is processing nutrients or something like that you're getting drunk, or at least that similar type of aspect to
delirious.
Getting drunk. So I can't imagine 30 days.
30 days, I can't
awake.
imagine. I think the OTO does like a couple days. I think Max talked about that. I mean, I do know I have done sleep deprivation before. That gets really weird.
I mean, even just being up for a long time and then getting exhausted and falling asleep, you start having bizarre dreams.
Whoa.
I mean,
You're more vivid. They're more vivid. Your
big
muscles
time.
start twitching.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. And then you do it in abstinence where you don't eat as well when you do that. Yeah.
Super irritated. The longest I've stayed up 72 hours, not because I wanted to. I was angry. Very, very angry.
Well, you're just short and to the point.
I just did not want to deal with anybody's bullshit. Because
You don't care.
I was up for 72 hours. And that wasn't fun. So you can imagine a whole week. By the end of the week, you're probably losing your fucking mind.
Right.
You know? So do we have any more questions? Let's see. Hey.
Question.
Gotta run. Thanks, guys. Atlas89. No, thank you for tuning in.
for being here.
The Bean TV. It's good to get away and survive with friends in the wilderness. Yes,
it
you
is.
are right. It is fun. Nature is a drug, a good drug.
It's a great way
and
to
it
cleanse.
helps you.
Ground.
If you live in LA,
Ground for sure.
take yourself to Angeles National Forest. It's like 45 minutes north. Go up the mountain and just experience total silence.
Right.
Because, you know, when you're in the city, all you hear is sirens and cars and honking and people. When you get out into wilderness and all you hear is air and birds,
trees rustling in the wind,
nature.
Be in the
It's
moment.
calm.
We had that on our other show.
Yeah.
Go out there and be in the now. Take everything out. Just be in the now. Just be.
Yeah.
Be with nature. It's amazing.
I know how happy slappy. I know people that have stayed awake for a month on methamphetamines and uppers. They don't seem very enlightened to me.
I would say
I think
no.
we got a Joker,
correct.
guys. I think there's a Joker on YouTube right now.
I think so.
And that's okay. I like that.
I think so. Yeah.
That makes
That's okay.
it fun.
That makes it fun because he's not lying. You know,
Yeah, I don't
I've known
recommend
some
doing
tweakers,
that.
man. That how the hell do you do it? You know.
I see him ride around on bikes and skateboards all day.
So if you guys have any more questions, shoot them out right now. Guys in the back, do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any parts of the movies you want to talk about?
No, I think we got our hands full back here.
You've been busy.
Sorry.
You busy.
I apologize. Any closing remarks on this movie?
You need to watch it. If you are a fan of our show, you will be doing us a disservice and yourself if you do not watch this movie from beginning to end.
You know, Mike, I'm going to leave it to you to close. Why don't you close it up?
Okay.
Do it, Mike.
I'll close it up in the best way I can.
Do it, Mike.
We are images, dreams, photographs. We must not stay here. Prisoners. We shall break the illusion. This is Maya. Goodbye to the Holy Mountain. Real life awaits us.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Until next time, same channel. See you soon.
Later.
Later.